afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Moving Markets Podcast. It is Tuesday, October the 21st, 2025. I am recording this today with about 7 minutes left until the stock market closes. So right now, I'm in California right now, so Pacific time is 12:53 p.m. The markets close at 1 o'clock p.m. out here, so just about 7 more minutes. Um, I Right now, everything looks pretty good. The three major indexes are up. It looks like it's been barring something really nutty going on, literally in 6.5 minutes or less. It looks like the Dow Jones is going to finish up with a nice strong day, up 280 points. S&P, not a crazy big day, but still up 8 points. And maybe the Nasdaq keeps into positive territory. It's been down. I don't know. I haven't watched every tick of the market today, so I'm not positive whether or not the Nasdaq has sometime been in positive territory today, or if it's spent the entirety of the day in the red. But it looks like it definitely for a little while, mm, right there during the middle of the trading day, for a little while that had to have been some positive territory right there, briefly. But for the most part, it's been negative to somewhat flat. You can see when the market opened, it had a downward movement. Now, only down 2 points right now. Maybe we get positive during these last or 5.5 minutes that we have in trading. But overall, a good day, a steady day. Nothing spectacular, nothing to necessarily write home about. But you like seeing the indexes up instead of down, and even with the Nasdaq giving up a little bit, a relatively flat day. It makes the start of this week look pretty solid when you put it together with yesterday's move up. The big scare Friday seems far in the rearview mirror now. Looks like we're almost back, not quite, almost back to where it was before that big ugly sell-off on last week Friday. And I believe the Dow and the S&P, S&P or Dow, looking like looks like intraday it touched a new all-time high. Not sure if it's going to finish. Actually, I think that will be a new all-time high finish if it ends right where it's at right now. And the S&P, not going to finish at an all-time high, but like the Nasdaq, almost back to where it was last week Friday. I'm talking about a full week ago Friday, not just this most recent Friday, but the week prior. So maybe a week and a half ago. So all in all, looking good. Um, things are looking up. There's a lot of earnings. I talked about this enough yesterday. I'm not going to go into it a lot more today. There is a lot of earnings going on, starting with Netflix after the close today. It'll be really interesting to see what Netflix does. They always tend to be a big mover. I looked and tried to find some long iron condor prices on Netflix. Couldn't find anything that I really like. Netflix, in my opinion, is overdue for a split. The time they got this high, I believe they did a 10-for-1 split. And I'd like to see Netflix split again, because I would probably get into a stock position with them and just hang on to it long term, collar trade it, because I think Netflix is going to continue to be a strong company and continue to move up. I got to correct one thing that I talked about yesterday. I didn't know until I heard about it on one of the financial channels that I watch in the morning and during the day. We actually are going to get CPI numbers on Friday, regardless of what the Democrats do with continuing to keep the government closed or voting to open it back up. The CPI numbers are going to be released on Friday. And I guess there's some of those numbers that they need to make cost of living allowances for Social Security recipients. I didn't know that CPI numbers were used for that. So we will get CPI numbers on Friday. The rest of what's on the list here, we may or may not get, just depending on whether we get a vote to open things back up. We'll have to see. Our trades are looking really good. Amazon, got to talk to you about Amazon. We set a target of 246. We got into the trade on Amazon at 205 and set a limit order of 246. And it was right around an hour, maybe an hour and a half ago. My limit order triggered, and I got out for 246. So fantastic one-day trade, full 20% profit on a 1 day trade. Absolutely love, love, love it. And we've got Apple up nicely. I'm still looking for Apple to maybe hit 10%, and then I'm gonna consider getting out. It's had another nice move up today. Um, there's our Apple trade right there. And I'll have to come back to this because it'll take a minute for this to refresh and update. But Apple looking good with another strong day to the upside. Then Palantir, last I looked, looks like the Nasdaq's probably going to finish down. It's tailing off just a little bit. Last I looked, Palantir was pretty flat on the day. It's been up, it's been down, really flat. And Nvidia was up for a little while, but I think it's mostly been down today. Not drastically, not anything terrible. Got into positive territory for a little while when the whole Nasdaq went positive for a little bit. But it looks like it's going to likely finish the day down just a little bit. But in spite of that, our trades look absolutely fantastic. Almost at 10% on Apple. I got to tell you, at 9.29%, it's tempting to close it. I do have a limit order in place to close my Apple trade as soon as it hits that limit. So for triple play trades, I had to send an adjustment for Taiwan Semiconductors today. Adjusted this into an iron condor. It looks to me like this thing is going to stay very flat until the end of the week. The closer it finishes now to 295, or actually anywhere between 292.50 and 297.50. If it finishes anywhere in between there, we're actually going to make a little bit of profit because I took in a bigger credit than what I paid to get into the trade. So I have a small net credit now on the trade. And I think for a couple more days, it'll likely finish. You look at this 1 month chart, and there's that's about I think that's about a 2 week stretch right there, flat as a pancake, absolutely flat, and I think that's what's going to continue to happen. So and if it we're now in a situation where worst case scenario, we can't lose more than $1 a share, and we'll adjust one side or the other if it does start to. Let me get Taiwan Semi in here. This. So you can see how it's just, look at that 5 day moving average is just getting very, very flat. I think it will continue to converge a little bit towards the 20-day moving average, still stay between the 192.50, the 197.50 on the high side. I think that's where it's going to end up. Like I said, if it starts to break below that, we'll adjust one side or the other. If it starts to break above or below that, we did that on the triple play side of things, and otherwise we're pretty set where everything is at. Nike looking good, much improved today with Nike being up a little bit. Texas Instrument reports, I think tonight or tomorrow morning, and our strategy trade looks better than it did a week ago. Still doesn't look great, but looks better than it did a week ago. So overall, looking pretty good. I might send out another trade this week. We were so quick to get our profit. The markets are officially closed, by the way. It looks like, Nasdaq just tailed off right there in that last few minutes. Still not a bad drop. S&P, everything tailed off a little bit. It's interesting. That was 260 when we started. That was 16 or 18 when we started, and that was only down a couple points when we started. So everything tailed off right at the close there. We'll have to find out why sometime between now and tomorrow. I think that's. I don't have a lot more today. There's not a lot that's new that's going on. I will very possibly send out another trade this week since our Amazon trade opened and closed so quickly. I might see an opportunity to do a second trade for the main spread trades. And since we only got filled on 2 of our triple plays, I got to talk about CoreWeave. Sorry, almost forgot to talk about CoreWeave. CoreWeave, stinking thing filled for us and then immediately started to sell off. It went way down this morning at the open, and then it came back fair amount, such that it finished only 29 cents off of the 125 that we really need it to stay above. The RSI has not crossed over yet. The 5 and 20-day moving average is right there at a crossover. If we get a bounce like we did right here, and I'm hopeful that's the case, if we get the same bounce right here, get the same one right here that we got right here, I think we're going to be okay. I'm not quite ready to make an adjustment to this. I will tomorrow morning if it starts to the downside again. If CoreWeave starts moving down at the open tomorrow, be watching and I will make an adjustment for us. Our other trade that we opened successfully on the triple play side was the, it looked like it actually closed just above. Oh, we closed just above 125 and then it's down just a little tiny bit in aftermarket trading. Not too worried about the aftermarket move. We'll see what happens tomorrow morning. Anyway, the IBM trade, I believe their report is also tomorrow. So we'll have a lot more to talk about tomorrow with what happens with some of these earnings, specifically with Texas Instrument and IBM. I'm going to wrap up right there, everybody. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. I'll be back on tomorrow, probably around the close of the market.